My name is Sean Neild. I'm the state soil scientist for NRCS Idaho. The purpose behind this video is to follow on the heels of the 3 introductory videos for utilizing web soil survey that were produced by our National Soil Survey Center. In those videos, Tammy Cheever does an excellent and very thorough job of showing us the basic functions of the web soil survey application, how to generate your area of interest, and how to navigate through some reports and interpretations. The idea behind this video is to take an Idaho example where we navigate to a spot in Idaho with some irrigation-related soil properties in mind, that we develop our area of interest and generate the soils information that we need, and then wrap it up in a report that we can utilize later. And I'll do some explaining along the way. But with that in mind, I'll start sharing my screen here. This will take just a minute. All right, so if you had Googled NRCS web soil survey, you might have wound up here at the big green button, which I've already hit. It'll take you to a map of the United States. In the address bar, I'm going to take us to a small town in southeastern Idaho that you may or may not be familiar with called Malta. This is in the Raft River area. I'm going to use the panhand and go a little bit north of town. And then I'm going to pick the AOI polygon tool and delineate a kind of a custom area rather than just drawing a box. And I'm doing this for example purposes. This doesn't have anything to do with any ownership boundaries here. And in the end, we'll utilize the function of web soil survey that'll allow us to generate a downloadable file representing this delineation so that in the end, well, that makes a good example, I suppose. I just flubbed up our AOI. We'll do it again. We hit the clear AOI button. Still have the polygon tool. And double tap to finish. It's not the nicest delineation I've ever made, but that'll work for our purposes here. And we'll go to the soil map tab. One of the things I like to do immediately with looking at a soil map is to go in and change the properties of the soil map so that the line boundaries are nice and fat. And the labels here are already set to very large, so, and that's easier for my eyeballs. Anytime you're in web soil survey and you like what you see and you want it to be part of what you come away with, we click the add to shopping cart button. I don't find a lot of use for the optional subtitle. We can give the entire report a custom title at the end when we check out if we like. So these is probably explained before, the map unit descriptions. I just real quickly want to breeze through this. This is the Bayhem Portneuf complex 0 to 1% slopes. The map unit setting gives us an idea of where this thing lives in terms of climate and elevation. The map unit composition gives us the percent of soils that are Bayhem versus Portneuf. It gives us a setting description for Bayhem, what kind of landforms we find it on, the typical profile for Bayhem and the textures associated with those horizons. Soil properties and qualities can be very important. This is something to look through. Really important things like depth or restrictive features. that'll have a lot to do, especially if you're interested, like I am for this example, in available water supply. Things like drainage class, depth to water table. These are things that will affect our ability to manage this soil or develop it or use it as an engineering medium or what have you. The calcium carbonate content in this fairly high, about 25%. Sodium absorption ratio max of 10, so salts could be an issue here. Interpretive groups, the land capability classification. So if this is being reviewed for some sort of valuation, that's probably going to play a role. At any rate, there's a lot of great information in here, and it can help you explain things that you might run into later because it gives you some good detailed information about the map unit. So without getting too wound around the axle with map unit descriptions, I'm going to continue on here to Soil Data Explorer. And I indicated that I was interested in some irrigation-related soil properties, namely available water capacity, available water supply, some physical soil properties, and some engineering properties as well. Thinking of this as a potential example for a irrigation project. So looking at soil properties and qualities. I'm going to soil physical properties and available water capacity. And available water capacity is a ratio of water to soil. And it's given in a ratio and gives you an option here of calculating it for a certain depth or for the entire soil profile. If I'm interested primarily just in the rooting depth of a lot of things that I might be growing here, I might tell it 0 to 100 centimeters or 40 inches. We'll generate a rating there. You see the table data pops up. And the ratings are in, again, it's a ratio, centimeters per centimeter, centimeters of water per centimeter of soil. We want to look at our legend. The reddish colors are going to be low. The bluer colors are going to be high in terms of available water capacity. I'm going to add that to my cart. Next, I'm going to look at available water supply. 0 to 100, which we just looked at, but we looked at available water capacity. Water supply, when we view this rating, is going to give us a result that's centimeters of water. So we can see we've got some soils that rate out pretty well, 18 centimeters of water versus some that not so great. Dark bowl loam, saline, 1 to 3% slopes, 7.8 centimeters of water. That's a more challenging scenario. I'm going to add that to my shopping cart. Sometimes we don't want to take up the amount of space in our report that these maps consume. So we can generate soil reports. And it just gives us the table data associated with the soils in the map. So here, I'm going to look at the engineering properties report. If you're an engineer, unified and AASHTO classifications are going to make sense to you. Percent fragments can be really instructive. some of those at low available water capacity and available water storage. I think we're going to see some higher numbers here. Yeah. So that's instructive. We'll add it to the shopping cart. Physical soil properties, we'll view that report. So our percentages of sand, silt, and clay, moist bulk density, where you see in these columns where they list 3 values, what you're looking at is a range, low, and then the representative value in the middle, and then the high. Available water capacity is also listed here. Linear extensibility, organic matter percentage, erosion factors, wind erodibility, group and index. Gonna add that to the shopping cart. Okay. Probably good to check out our shopping cart. And if you've generated a number of these reports, you've probably seen the section on how soil surveys are made a million times, so you can uncheck that. That'll save you 3 pages. So we've got our soil map, map unit legend, map unit description, available water capacity, available water supply. We've got our engineering properties and physical soil properties. And I'm going to go back here for a second. I forgot to mention one thing that can be handy. Going back to soil properties and qualities, when we view a rating like this, available water supply, 0 to 100 centimeters, if those numbers that are popping up are used in a, if you want to use those in a calculation, it's easy enough to just copy and paste straight out of the table here and into an Excel spreadsheet. Maybe that seems really obvious, but I thought I'd bring it up. It actually works fairly well. And there they are. Perhaps for that saline soil, you were going to calculate a leaching fraction or something like that for your irrigation. All right, so we came in, we got the data that we wanted. We added everything that we wanted to add to our shopping cart, did we? I don't think so, because that button is still active and not grayed out for this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. We should have 3 things in there under available water. Okay, so we're going to check out. We use the get now function. I should have mentioned this is where we could have put a custom subtitle in there if we wanted to. Bob Smith's irrigation project, and there it is in all of its glory. your report. Your table of contents. Always the map unit legend and descriptions are going to come first, and then the information that you generated comes after that. So our main map unit description, custom interpretations in regards to available water, and then the table data, the soil reports. And there's good explanations of what's in that, what's in those as well. So here you could download that. One other thing that we should download. Oh, right in front of my face, download soils data. And I'm going to create a download for my AOI. Create the download link. It'll generate a link for you. You can put it in your folder for the Bob Smith irrigation project. And there it is. So hopefully that provides a relatively succinct example of throwing together a number of the things that you'd learned in the first 3 videos with a little bit of an Idaho flavor and something, some properties that are related to irrigation and water management. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate your time.